Welcome back to the channel. In the last episode, I test fit the Trackhawk engine block as well as the all-wheel drive transmission and didn't have very many issues at all. Actually, I don't think I really had any issues. Everything fit very well other than the transfer case, which I already knew I was gonna have to modify the driver's side part of the tranny tunnel. Mopar Online Parts actually got me the engine mounts that I needed. Parts are very cheap, links in the description, go check them out. But other than the transfer case, having to modify the tranny tunnel to fit it, there wasn't anything that I really, that really left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not exactly sure why Dodge doesn't offer these cars with a newer upgraded 8-speed all-wheel drive transmission, other than maybe some design issues because they'd have to go and redesign the floor. But that being said, a lot of people are asking me why I'm using the Trackhawk all-wheel drive transmission instead of the Charger all-wheel drive unit. It's because the Charger unit is a weak 5-speed and the transfer case is very small. I want to make a lot of power with this thing. That being said, the Trackhawk unit, this is an 18 plus 8 HP 95, which they're known to hold over 1,000 horsepower. Same goes for the transfer case. Shouldn't have any issues. This car is going to be a lot lighter. Trackhawks weigh, I think, 5,800 pounds. I should be able to keep this thing under 5,000. So now that we have a little bit better understanding of why I'm using the Trackhawk unit and why I need to modify the floor to fit it, it really isn't that big of a deal because it's not going to be modified in spaces that really matter, and I don't think it's that big of an issue. So what I'm going to do now is actually start cutting the tranny tunnel to get the transfer case to fit. In the end of this episode, I want to have the block in there with the tranny bolted in to the chassis, and we'll be ready to go. Then I can get measurements for the drive shaft, figure out where I'm going to put the front diff, and figure out where the axles are going to go, how I'm going to modify the subframe. One thing I did end up doing was ordering the wide body inner structure of the quarter panel. The reason I did this was because I wasn't sure what the differences were between the wide body and the non-wide body, but now that I have both of them in front of me, it's night and day. So all they do for the wide body is give this little section right here, they cut it out. That's probably a little notch for a clip, just so the clip's clear, so the wheel clears, so there isn't any issues rubbing. So what I'm gonna do is trace that onto a piece of cardboard, then trace it onto my original piece down here and just cut it out and give it a nice trim. Then I could use this whole piece that I pulled off of the car, which it did have a little bit of damage from a fender bender. I'll just use a hammer and a dolly, bang that out. It'll be 100% good to go. Then I don't have to worry about sectioning this piece in, which I'm not exactly sure why Dodge doesn't give you the whole section, because the correct repair is actually to slip this thing into the frame rail or into the unibody and then spot weld everything back in. So not exactly sure, body shops do stuff quick, do stuff cheap. Even if I was trying to fix this damaged piece right here, that piece wouldn't actually fix what's damaged down here, but it's not even that bad. So hammer and dolly will fix it. Let's get to, well, I'm probably not gonna trim this yet. I wanna get the doors on there first. So I'm going to actually pull that rear door off. I just put it on there for kind of a visual, and then start working on the wide body door, which I just need to put the hinges on there, and then I could start removing the spot welds and get the door frame out. As you guys can see, the door frame just interferes. It's not the same shape. So what I'm gonna do, pull that door frame, worry about it later, and then most likely what I'm gonna end up doing is just bringing the door frame straight up.
Gonna wrap this Charger episode up right here. I'm really glad that the tranny and everything is up in the car. I cut the floor out. All I really need to do now is get a drive shaft shop or some similar 3-inch front drive shaft, just so when I make the floor, I don't have any clearance or interference issues. But I mocked up all of I started cutting the rear quarter panel, the old one, just so when I cut the new one, everything is gonna fit just perfect. but I decided to mock all the flares and everything up on this thing, and it is quite a bit different. So a lot of people are like, man, these cars aren't really wide body. I don't know what's up with it, but a lot of people say it's not a true wide body car because it's not technically in the fenders, but really no wide body car. If you look at the older BMWs, all of that was just fiberglass overs that most people just molded in. So you look back here, you can see that's just pretty much what a normal Charger looks like, and it's just really bland, not wide at all. And then you come over to the wide body side, and I mean, you could see how deep that wheel is inset into the flares and everything. So I'm gonna push this thing outside and get a little picture and everything, but I'm really happy that the doors fit now. I still need to make the door frames. As you guys saw, I just drilled the spot welds out, pulled and cut these at the 45 where the weld was, pulled everything out. All I need to do is get all this sheet metal work done, then I could do the door frame, and I still need to trim this up right here as well. That is the piece of metal that I made, but everything should be good after that. And then once the door frame, I didn't line the doors up, so what I need to do, it's kind of a pain lining these doors up by myself. I probably need to have a friend come over, help me line these things up and get them 100% dead on, because that's pretty much what I'm going to be going off of, lining all of the rear sheet metal up and building all of the sheet metal that isn't there that I need to make. So it's just really cool seeing this thing as a wide body. You know, I really wanted a wide body station wagon, and I think a lot of people do, but I mean, just look at that rear bumper, look at that rear end. I mean, it's gonna look so sick. But yeah, it's been a lot of work. This is the old quarter panel. So what I think I'm gonna do is actually, on the new panel, this area right here, I'm gonna fold it up because this is actually a ledge, and then I'm gonna bring it in, and I need to get one of those tools. It like makes a little ledge, and then what I'm probably gonna end up doing is actually just running spot welds all the way down. And then I ordered all the stuff to, now they have like a non-lead free body solder. So I'm just going to run probably, I'd say in this area, probably like 10 spot welds across it. Then all the way across, it'll be, you know, it'll be quite a few. I'll probably bring this up, like I said before, up here and spot weld it here. But yeah, then I could just body solder it, sand it down, and it'll be like one piece of metal. And then the spot welds will just hold everything together. And it'll be a lot better than welding it, I think, because with welding, there is a lot of warpage. That is a very long area to weld. And then, you know, I'll get into this thing where I'm welding it and it warps, and then you have to grind it down. There's all these pinholes, and then it just kind of becomes this nightmare. So I don't want to have any issues later down the road with, you know, welds rusting and stuff like that. This way I can make sure that everything is going to be really nice. It's not going to be connected with seam sealer, or not seam sealer, but panel bond, a bunch of body fill or anything like that. So it'll be a really nice welded or spot welded piece that is filled with the body solder, which I think will be a really nice finish. And I still need to figure out what I'm going to do back here, connecting the trunk. Like I said before, I want to just kind of bring this piece of metal up, spot weld it here, and then just make it. But that's still to be determined. But I'm just really glad that I got to this spot and that I have all the, you can see the lines don't line up right here. That's just because it's on there with a vice grip. So don't get too worried about that. It will be really nice body lines when it's all finished. But yeah, it was really nice getting these window frames out and getting the doors to close all the way. So I'm gonna end the video here. Actually, if you guys haven't seen the tranny, let's check it out really quick. So the Trackhawk all-wheel drive transfer case, actually, so some people are gonna say it takes up a lot of room, and that's why Dodge doesn't use those transmissions. And it does take up a lot of room, but I never stick my feet in that area. It's not really going to be that big of a deal. Also, when you're sitting there, even if there is a little hump there, it's not that big of a deal. What I'm going to do back here, I might end up having to move the little seat bracket thing over or modifying it so it so when it slides forward, it still can slide. It'll be, you know, I'm tall, so it really won't matter for me, but I think short girls or dudes won't be able to drive this car. So if you're short and hoping to drive this thing, I think this ride's gonna be for like 5'11" up. It's gonna be like Disneyland. So that being said, that's the end of this video. If you like these videos, make sure you click the subscribe button, thumbs up, throw a comment below, and see you guys next time.